Hello students, hope you are doing well. Today we are going to read a renowned poem on killing a tree by the environment-friendly poet Gieve Patel. Gieve Patel was born in 1940 in Mumbai. In addition to practicing as a general physician, he is a well-known poet, playwright, and a self-taught artist. In 1966, his first poetical work, Poems, was published. His other notable works are Mirrored Mirroring, How Do You Withstand, and Body. He is one of the group of writers who are associated with the Green Movement or the environment movement. A remarkable theme in Gieve Patel's poetry is the concern for nature. The tree is the symbol of nature. In this poem, the poet shows vividly the process of killing a tree. The tone of the poet is indifferent, as if he is without feelings, but it is not the truth. As he is a doctor, he has applied reverse psychology with the intention of arousing love and sympathy for nature. He presents a cruel picture of killing a tree to depict it as a murder, but the destruction of this generous friend of mankind will only evoke the total destruction of life in this earth. So the poet tells the man to stop his cruelty towards nature for his own sake. Before we go to the poem, let us discuss about the literary devices used in the poem. Free verse. The poem is written in free verse, as it does not follow in regular meter, rhyme scheme, or any musical pattern. It follows the rhythm of regular speech. Irony. The tone of the poem is ironical. Irony is the way of speaking in which the meaning is completely opposite of what is spoken. Here in this poem, we see that the poet is describing the process of killing a tree as if he supports the activity, but originally he has sympathy and concern for the tree as well as nature. Enjambment. Enjambment is the continuation of a sentence into two or more lines without any punctuation. As for example, not a simple jab of the knife will do it. This sentence is running into the next line without any punctuation. This type of enjambment is used many times in this poem. Metaphor. In this poem, the poet has used various metaphors. Metaphor is a figure of speech containing an implied or hidden comparison. As for example, leprous hide. The hide of the tree is compared to a leprosy affected person. Bleeding bark. The sap coming out of tree is compared to the bleeding from the wound in a human's body. Personification. Personification is a figure of speech in which an inanimate object is given human attributes. The poet has used personification to portray the tree as a human being throughout the poem. Alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of words begin with the same consonant sound. As for example, bleeding bark, white and wet. Repetition. Repetition is a literary device. When a poet uses any word, phrase or sentence again and again is called repetition. In this poem, the word pulled out is used many times. So it is an example of repetition. Now we will go to the general discussion of the poem on killing a tree. The poem has 4 stanzas of irregular length. The first stanza deals with the process of the upbringing of a tree. Years after years, it consumes the earth's nutrients and absorbs sunlight, air, water, and grows to be a tree. The poet says here that the essential natural elements has nurtured the tree, so it is not easy to kill it. The second stanza describes the repeated attempts of human beings to kill it. The poet has used violent images like hack, chop to describe man's cruelty towards nature. Man relentlessly hurts it, but the tree heals over soon, and it gets back life again. The third stanza describes the merciless effort of uprooting of the tree. Like a mother, the earth protects the root, the most sensitive part of the tree. But the man attacks and pulls out the root from the earth's cave. The last stanza depicts the final destruction of the tree by making it scorched and hard, and the final destruction of the tree is done. Now we will try to analyze the poem line by line. It takes much time to kill a tree. Not a simple jab of the knife will do it. The poet Gieve Patel has personified the tree. Trees to have life just like us. But it is not easy to kill it. It is a time consuming process, and not a simple stab of a knife can do it. It has grown slowly, consuming the earth, rising out of it, feeding upon its crust. The poet describes here how the tree, consuming the earth and taking nutrients from the earth's crust, comes out and gradually grows to be a tree. Absorbing years of sunlight, air, water, years after years it takes sunlight, air, and water and grows to be a tree. So a tree has all these natural elements in it. And out of its leprous hide sprouting leaves. The bark of the tree is here compared to the skin of the leprosy affected person, as the bark of the tree is colorless and rough. But from here bright green leaves come out and make it beautiful. So hack and chop. This is the link between the first and the second stanza. The first process of stabbing the tree with a knife is not enough to kill it. Then the next step to be followed. This is to blow and cut it into pieces. This is the cruelty of human beings towards trees. But these alone won't do it. Now the poet says that hacking and chopping will not be able to kill the tree. Not so much pain will do it. The tree has so much vitality that even after giving heavy stroke or cutting it into pieces, man will not be able to kill it. The pain will not be enough to kill the tree. The bleeding bark will heal. Here the bleeding bark is referred to the downward flowing swamp from the chopped tree. It is also an example of personification. The wounds of the tree will be healed again. And from close to the ground will rise curled green twigs, miniature boughs. From remaining small parts close to the ground from the chopped tree, small green offshoots will grow, and small branches will appear, which if unchecked will expand again to form a size. The appearance of the small twigs, if not controlled, then it will begin to achieve its former size. It shows us how intensely the tree wants to live. No, the root is to be pulled out. Even now the tree is not killed, so the root of the tree to be dragged out of the anchoring earth. Anchoring means to fix something firmly. The tree anchors itself with the earth by its roots, so the roots of the tree are to be dragged out from the earth. It is to be roped, tied, and pulled out, snapped out, and pulled out entirely out from the earth cave. There is a violent process to uproot a tree. That is, the tree will be tied with a rope and be broken with a sharp sound. Then the tree will be uprooted completely, and the hollow place of the earth will be revealed. The hollow place is called the earth's cave. And the strength of the tree exposed. The strength of the tree is in its roots. The tree is uprooted, so the strength of the tree is revealed, which was hidden under the earth. The source, white and wet, the most sensitive, hidden for years inside the earth. The root is the origin of the tree. It was hidden for years. It is white because it does not receive sunlight, and red because it remains inside the earth. It is the most sensitive part of the tree. Then the matter of scorching and choking in sun and air. The uprooting of the tree is complete. Now the next step to be burned and suppressed it. So it is left in sun and air. The poet here again points out the cruelty of human beings towards trees. Browning, hardening, twisting, withering, and then it is done. In sun and air, the tree becomes brown and hard. Then the tree is bent out of the normal shape and it becomes dry. Now the tree is completely lifeless and the killing of a tree is done. In this poem, the poet Gieve Patel has described a very violent process of killing a tree to remind us, what are we doing? We are killing our best friend so mercilessly. We have to stop this, otherwise the earth will not remain habitable for our future generations. Hope you have understood the poem clearly. Good day.